Hello, Josh. How are you doing? I know you're wondering why, um, what I'm doing and everything like that. But that's why I just want to tell you that I didn't want to give up. But I know this is counting on my grade, and I had a little bit of I had some problems earlier, as I told you. And today, what happened in class, I just couldn't go for it, and it was bothering me all I was taking the final, and I'm pretty sure you saw it on my face. So if I could just have 10 minutes of your time, I promise. Not even. I mean, seriously, just 10, because I know you have a whole bunch of stuff to do. You have a life, and I understand it. But if you could just please watch this, and at least let me get a better grade, okay? Um, all right. So at first, what I decided to do was just have show the presentation to you and send in the link so you can click on it. But okay, just 10 minutes, okay? All right. So here we go. So the first thing that I'm talking about is the pesticide and PCB laboratory. Okay. Now, in this laboratory, I basically did a PowerPoint. I'm like, I had to go like to the background and find out everything, like what it's about, and everything like that, and like how they work and what they do in the laboratory, and how PCB and pesticide analysis actually works. So this laboratory performs pesticide, PCB, and herbicide analysis on sample extracts provided by the extraction laboratory. Okay. And now, some of the lab is the concentrated solvent, the pesticide or the PCB, is injected into a gas chromatograph, which separates the many possible components for identification. Now, the chromatograph uses a detector called uh, called an electron capture detector that is specific for the halogen groups, which are common to many pesticides, and specifically like chlorine groups or something like that. All right. Now, this somewhat selected detector helps to eliminate compounds from being identified as pesticides if they don't have a halogen group, like the chlorine. Compounds are identified by the amount of time it takes for them to travel through the chromatograph column and reach the detector, which then makes a peak on the chart for that compound. Now, um, analytes detected are confirmed on a second chromatograph column, or the detector, and I mean, that is different than the first. Only compounds identified by both columns are reported as present. Okay, so there is this um, site you can go to that basically I'll tell you what the video is about, since I can't do a video inside of a video. But basically, it talks about I interviewed this guy named let me get his name. His name is Michael Aaron, I believe, or something like that. What's his name? Michael King, Mr. Michael King, and he's actually from the country that's stated in the I think it was Mumbai or something like that. The country in the YouTube video, Monsanto, and basically he saw this video on the news, and done by this lady. I can't remember her name, Chelsea Green or something like that, and she was doing this special video on how the people of Monsanto, they like killed themselves and stuff like that because by drinking this pesticide water. And so like once he saw this and he saw that he's from there, he realized that he wanted to do something about it, and he wanted to become test pesticides and PCB. And although he said it was his information is like really classified, I asked him what he does exactly, and how he helps the environment. And he just told me that he um, tests things that he finds important, and that's basically all the information he's willing to give over the phone. Now I also talked to Dr. Burkholz, and his number's on there, I think, on here. And at first I was unsuccessful completely because he was actually in a meeting with somebody else, and he I called him and he was like, I'm actually in a meeting. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll call you later. And he's like, what do you need? And I asked him what he does and what was his role in PCB and pesticide testing, and he told me it was an extremely personal information, and it couldn't be given over the phone. And it's just he didn't know why. I told him I was a student and everything, like with NetTech, and I was doing a report. And obviously, maybe I guess I worded it wrong. So I tried to change my questions up, and I basically asked him what information can he give me over the phone. So the information he gave me over the phone was just that he loves his work, and he basically just tests pesticides with different materials, such as PCB bare boards, and he does board separation, double-sided PCB, and fabrication. And basically, he just tests pesticides and stuff that are harmful to humans and bees, because he's really like interested in bees and stuff like that. I'm not really sure why, but he takes his job very seriously. He says, and he loves what he does. Now, I promise I'm almost done. Now, I went back and I tried to find out what pesticide toxicity really was. And chronic toxicity is the delayed poisonous effect from exposure to a substance. So pesticides concern the general public as well as those working directly with pesticides because of the potential exposure to them in food or water or air. And it is measured in experimental conditions after 3 months of either continuous or occasional exposure. Now, there was scientists in labs, they try to figure out like why they harm the body, and they do tests that can prove, that that can stop actual, pesticides from harming our body and plants and things like that. And last summer, actually, there was General Mills, um, a little. It's like this is General's fact. They learned that some 21 million bushels of oats were tainted with an unauthorized pesticide. Now, usually, the pesticide that they use is okay for grains, but not for oats. And since General Mills does both, it got mixed in with the oats, and it was really bad because the pesticide for the grains is obviously not the same. You can't use the same one for the oats. And basically, they had to recall and destroy approximately 50 million boxes of Cheerios and Lucky Charms, and 50 million bushels of just raw oats. And General Mills, they could have gotten in big trouble for that, but they took the right precautions, and they tested the pesticides and they got it out of there, and they saw it was wrong, and they sent it to some sites and everything like that, and they made sure that it wouldn't get messed up again. They had to take part in a multi-residue screening. And in recent years, the new relatively inexpensive analytical test kits have been developed for the rapid testing of pesticides in food and water. And many manufacturers of these kits boast that users can get faster results and it costs less than ever before, which I don't know if it's necessarily true, but the lower the conventional solvent extraction in the gas chromatography is based on multi-residue methods, which obviously is a little better. And then I went to look at some lab technician responsibilities, like what you can get into with this job and how this job can help you. And there are some of the responsibilities just computer, electronics, engineering, industrial responsibilities, information technology, lab technology, maintenance, quality control, and research development translation. They do a lot of stuff, and basically, just to be a lab technician, you got to have you got to have a bachelor's degree. And experience is usually 2 to 10 years. So they look for people with experience because, but the base salary is really good, and it starts at $45,000 a year, and it only goes up, which is pretty good. And my references are on the last page of my PowerPoint. Josh, thank you for your class. I'm sorry if I was the worst student in there and crashing and everything like that. Like I told you, I had some problems earlier, but thank you for working with me. I hope this video, helped a lot. And honestly, I only leave 8 minutes of your time because I know you have life and you have other stuff to do, you have other stuff to grade, and this is very last minute. But thank you again. I can't believe what happened in class today, but hopefully this you'll feel good about this and it'll be done. Thank you once again. You're awesome.